Escape to Gaming. Today I want to talk about some recent news, interesting news that has developed, and something I've been watching very closely, and that's the virtual reality development of this Oculus Rift. And then there's other independent companies and startup Kickstarter deals and with backers and what have you. There's many different interesting facets of this virtual reality future that I've been savoring and looking at since the very beginning. I mean, this is like a childhood dream that I've been following very closely. And, even John Carmack leaving id Software, to me personally, was huge news, and I couldn't wait to hear more about it. And I've been following it very closely. I even see all of John Carmack's tweets. Some of them are kind of cryptic, but a few of them he will occasionally kind of have some new breakthroughs. I remember early on, as he was having some breakthroughs, and him tweeting about some of his breakthroughs of latency and problems with the Oculus Rift and turning and the speed of it and everything. And I followed very closely what was happening with even the original Doom 3. The BFG edition was redone, especially for the Oculus Rift. And I've seen everything that I could watch on it. I've really been fascinated with the whole project. And that's kind of what this whole rant is all about. Back in 1980, I went to the movies by myself. I had my little BMX bike and rode it down and chained it to a dumpster out back behind the theater. And I went to see this film, which I remember seeing newspaper ads and some interesting TV commercials for Altered States with William Hurt in it. And this is a fascinating concept. I couldn't get this film out of my head for weeks. I went back to the theater and saw, I think, another 3 times after that. And then when it was available on VHS, I bought it. I taped it out from Showtime or HBO, one of those early movie channels, and watched it repeatedly. I've been fascinated with things that delve within the arena of the mind and the imagination. And this film really captured my imagination of just what it would be like to kind of go back into just your mind alone and expand your memory and expand your imagination. And to where you're really living in a fantasy world just within the arena of the mind. I felt this is a fascinating concept. I even still apply a lot of the basic principles of this with my meditation that I do today. And I spend a lot of time alone at night because I can't sleep for hours. And I'm just in a dark room. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes I'll have some very soothing music on. And I just do a lot of contemplating and thinking about my life and imagining things. And that's where this captured my imagination. Well, a few years later, there's another film which I saw. And another one I saw opening day. And that was a film in 1983, Brainstorm, with Christopher Walken and the poor Natalie Woods, who actually died in the production of this film. She fell off a boat and drowned, unfortunately. So... and then I saw this repeatedly. I think it was like on HBO. I remember taping it on VHS. I couldn't wait when I finally, I spent the big dollars, like $60 to buy a VHS of this years ago. And I was just mesmerized by the very concept of this Brainstorm film with Christopher Walken. This film pretty much embodies everything that I really think, when I think of virtual reality, that's what I think of, is putting on this headset, and it captures your imagination, it catapults your emotions and your feelings, and this was even more than just, a virtual reality world. It was actually, you're able to film and record people's emotions and feelings as well. So it delved into a lot of fascinating concepts on many different levels. This is a fantastic concept. They could do an incredible... I hate to really see a reboot or remake of this film, but they certainly could take the concept and do more with it for a concept today. I think it's a brilliant idea, and early on, it was films like this and Altered States that really captured my imagination early on, and just really got me thinking about what it would be like to kind of live in your mind and live within the arena of immersion. We hear the term, it's almost overused, immersion and adventure. I use the word escapism with my escape to cinema concept, and it's a notion that it's a big part of why I like gaming. Whether I'm playing Return to Castle Wolfenstein, it's just the immersion, the music gets me all pumped up. I'll turn the lights down in the room, and sometimes I know I'll shut my phone off, leave it in the desk near the room. I don't want to hear anything. Shut the door, and I can just enter into a world of immersion. and you'll still be distracted by the clock and little noises and things out the window. Sometimes when I'm doing my rants, I get distracted by a squirrel running along the fence or a bird or something, or a Vinny jumping up on the table. And that can kind of quickly take you out of the immersion, just the life we live in. But the concept of having something that envelops your head, and that just the way that you can move your head and the way that you perceive everything is through this, depending if it's not, hopefully not too heavy, having this headgear on that just totally envelops your face, and all you can kind of see is this world around you. Just the very concept is fascinating. So, I'm not a backer. I have no stocks. I haven't backed any Kickstarter projects with this Oculus Rift. There are people who are doing it just to have the dev kits and the availability to play with those systems early on. And there's lots of controversy over, Facebook, as we know, spent the equivalent of $2 billion to buy out this Oculus Rift. $400 million in cash, the rest in Facebook stocks, which are obviously going up each year. It's an interesting move. I don't know it. I know a lot about the Oculus Rift because I've watched and studied and read everything on it since its initial inception. Especially John Carmack's involvement, like I stated earlier. I'm very fascinated. This almost is a chance for John Carmack to redeem himself in a way, and kind of could almost save his career again. He could become a giant. The guy's a brilliant scientist with rockets and with writing just tons of code and designing new game engines, like the idTech 5 engine that's being used more and more within games, even new games on these next-gen systems. And I just find the whole concept fascinating, and I can't wait to see where it's going. I don't know if it's going to be a couple years away, or 18 months, or 5 years, who knows. But the infusion of this money and the banking and the resources of Facebook could in some ways be a pretty positive thing. It could give it the cash it needs to really just, people can throw huge chunks of money into development teams and can really tailor make not just games but experiences with this deal. You can imagine what it'd be like to be in something like a jet airplane flying, or someone said that they even have like I think you could be an eagle or like a bird and flying, or being underwater and seeing what it's like. I mean, you don't even have to have shooting mechanics or racing arcade game mechanics with something like this. So just the very notion of it is fascinating. There's so many applications. It makes your imagination tingle with concepts and ideas that many of them we've never even seen. So when I kept hearing a couple years ago about next gen, I kept wondering, God, what's the next PS4 going to be like? What's the next the new Xbox 720 or Durango? What is it going to be like? I was all excited, and I didn't know, is it just going to be better graphics? Are we going to have some radically new quantum leap in immersion and adventure? I really didn't know. So, and I'm still intrigued, and I love my PlayStation 4. I think that the fantastic PC-like graphics and particle effects and lighting effects and post-processing effects are fantastic. I think it really aids in the immersion, cutting down on the load times, making things more instantaneous. All of that is going to help and make your adventure in gaming that much better. I love my PlayStation 4. Oh, I still keep going back to the PS2 and the Xbox and playing more of that. And even the Xbox 360 games that I am, my PlayStation 4 system, shamefully, I should say. I should be, playing more. There's not a whole lot of games that really were just outstanding. I can't wait for the new Mad Max game and for this new Wolfenstein: The New Order. In fact, I'm going down. I was going to go today. I was just too tired. I want to come home and do this rant because it's been on my mind for 2 nights. It's all I've thought about is this Oculus Rift and what's happening with it. And it's a very controversial thing. I don't know how to really process all the information yet. Again, I don't know that much about the deal. The more I check into it, the more I find out a lot of people are really kind of in the dark as to what's happening with it. I don't know if it's going to be a good thing, if it's like the evil empire and Star Wars taking over. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to mean. I don't know if we're going to have little Facebook advertisements that are in the corner somewhere we're going to be seeing, or it's going to be stamped on the outside, or they probably won't do that. I think that Facebook already knows they have a little bit of a stigma and they don't want to be locked in and stereotyped. Maybe they think it'll make them more hip or more cool. because they're going to be on the cutting edge of technology. Maybe that's why they're doing it, or they just want to hedge their bets and make sure that they carve out a niche in the future. And if they think there's anything to this, then that could be their reason. You know, this Mark Zuckerberg guy seems like a pretty bright dude. I wouldn't be surprised if he has his own team of experts that sit around and they put their heads together, and they probably spent a lot of time thinking about this, and they have a plan mapped out. We don't know what it is. That's the part that makes me nervous, is I don't know. So I get like a dream pet project that I'm excited about, and I'm, you know, nervous, as many of us are very. My first impression was, oh God, no, Facebook, really? Come on. And I love Facebook. I'm one of the early adopters to Facebook. When I first got on the internet, God, back in '08, I couldn't get enough of Facebook, and I've been on it virtually ever since. I've got tons of photo albums and pictures and friends all over the world, and it's been wonderful. I found good buddies of mine from over 30 years ago, some of them right over here in the San Francisco area, which I haven't seen since 1979, over 30 years. And it's like we're best friends. I can go over and see them. We have a wonderful time and go to wineries and beer breweries and take tours in San Francisco. It's so much fun. And I owe it all to Facebook. Facebook, I don't want to discredit it and just trash it completely. Of course, I'm older. I fit that profile of 45 to 54-year-olds that are, you know, prone to using Facebook. And I kind of realize that, you know, my daughter, you know, they like Instagram and many of the other, you know, social media deals that are out there. I've kind of learned to like Twitter. Mark Bussler from Classic Game Room, he's the one that got me to follow him on Twitter. He sent me an email, Dean, why don't you follow me on Twitter? It's really, I respond a lot more to what's going on, and you can kind of see up to the minute little news and things that are going on. He posts pictures when he's on little beer brewery tours and stuff like that, and we do a lot of bantering just through, usually every Christmas and New Year's Eve, Mark and I send each other tweets back and forth, and it's just a lot of fun. I mean, I love Twitter and I love Facebook, but I felt kind of odd about Facebook, their involvement with this, you know, Oculus Rift. I don't know what's going to happen. Many of the backers feel slighted. They're frankly pissed off. They don't like this big corporate, you know, giant coming in. Here everyone's, you know, giving what little bit they have. Here, I can only get $1,500, but man, I want to get on the ground floor of this. Another guy comes in with $5,000 or 10K or whatever. Everyone feels like they've got a vested interest in helping to shape this thing in its humble beginnings. John Carmack, I think even his sacrifice is impressive to me. That tells me that if he believes in it and sees a future in it, I'm inclined to believe that there's something to it. I don't know if it's going to be incorporated through the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox 360. If it's its own deal, is it going to be $200, $500, $1,200? I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, I'm not a big fan of motion controls, as many people know. I don't want to do a Chris Farley coffee table crash, you know, and destroying everything in the living room, the process of fumbling around in the dark or with motion controls or whatever. But for this, I'm interested. I am highly enthusiastic and anticipating this virtual reality, and I'm willing to spend the big bucks for it. I mean, it may take me a while to save the money up for it, but it's something that I place a high value on, and I want to be there on the ground roots of it. So down the road, when I'm in my 70s or 80s, yeah, I was there. I remember the very beginning of the Oculus Rift and all that kind of stuff. Kind of like I can say that about Pong now on the 2600. That's fresh in my memory still. But these are interesting days that we're living in. This could go in a variety of directions, and that's the fascinating part. I think people feeling slighted over is totally understandable. I mean, imagine for years, you know, believe me, even here in Sacramento, I have my own favorite little eateries and little hole-in-the-walls I like to go. When I go down to LA, I go to some hole-in-the-walls. I've been there virtually since the 50s. I mean, forever. Some of them are kind of closing their doors, which is sad. But it's nice to find like a little pizza joint you've been going to for years and years. And you support them, and you take your best friends, your family comes in from out of town. Hey, you're going to love this. They got pizza just like they do back east. Check this out. And you take them down there, and they love the big fat guy behind the counter. They love the tablecloths, the little salad bar, the old beer signs, the dark wood paneling. The place has charm. It has wonderful food. It's a hidden gem that you look forward to. Even if you don't go there but every 3-4 months, it's a special place. And you feel that you have a vested interest. When you drive by there, you know, you feel you get friends that are in that place. They know you, you know them. Well, just imagine all of a sudden if McDonald's comes by and buys this place out, and a couple other pizza places in the neighborhood. And now they want to turn it into a generic hamburger. Oh, we have hamburgers and new McDonald's pizza, McPizza. Can you imagine how you'd feel? So based on that, it's an understandable dynamic. I validate people's frustrations with it. I have some real concerns of my own. But again, the positive side is I see the huge influx of capital that could drive this thing to really take off. And it could draw more big heavy hitters to the project. At the same time, I see it turning away a lot of brilliant independent people that may not like the big corporate ties. So it's a double-edged sword. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I'd like to hear what you think. I'd like to hear, some of you could care less. You just are not interested in motion controls, virtual reality. You think it's just another gimmick, like the 3D televisions and 3D glasses. Now, I've never cared for the 3D things. I used to go to the theater, and I watched, they had the Tower Theater in Fresno years ago. It was an old theater, and they would show these old re-released Alfred Hitchcock films, and The Creature from the Black Lagoon, a lot of these older late 50s sci-fi and horror films. And we had the little, cardboard 3D glasses with the colored lenses, and I'd watch them. As a kid, it was kind of cool, it was neat. But it just, as I'm older, I've never seen a 3D movie. I'm not the least bit interested. I go out of my way to find the same film, Oblivion, whatever film it is, I'll watch it just in the regular 2D. That's fine for me. I'm just not a 3D person. I don't like wearing glasses. Just after a while, it kind of gets to me. I start to get a little bit of a headache. It's not my deal, but I like the concept of it. I don't take any. I think as an option, it's fine. Whether it's you're playing Killzone 2 or 3 in 3D, or you're watching a film on a Sony TV or whatever in 3D, I think that's great. I'm just not personally into it, but this Oculus Rift in the virtual reality really does intrigue me. And this I'm going to invest in. I want to be a part of it somehow. I just have to wait and see what happens. So we may see something in a year from now. It could be two. I'd be happy if, let's say, the end of 2015, that something materializes and we actually have something that we can buy retail-wise, whether it plugs into our PS4, maybe it has its own console attached. I don't know how it's going to work out. I don't know how cumbersome it's going to be, how heavy. I really don't care. This is something that I will make the time for. I don't care if it makes me hurl, if it makes me sick. I'm really intrigued with this virtual reality. It's like a childhood dream that was first, realized in these movies and captured my imagination then, and it still does today. That's what's exciting about it. So we'll have to see what happens. But how do you feel about the future of gaming? I mean, do you feel that just next gen is just all about graphics? Do you feel that it's not even graphics, that games really need to innovate more? And I did a whole rant on, do games innovate enough? Some people think they do. Some people don't care. Some people said, the hell with it, I'll just go back and play the old games. And I certainly understand that. My concern is I'm not into a digital-only future. I like physical media. I like collecting DVDs. I like collecting, my favorite TV shows and my favorite games. I love to have the physical package in the game. In fact, this is still on my PlayStation 4. I played this last one. I haven't played a game since finishing Call of Duty Ghost. That shows you how little, unfortunately, I play my PlayStation 4 shamefully, as I'm playing more Xbox games than Xbox 360 games. But this infamous Second Son does look pretty good. I'm toying with getting that. It really does look interesting. I've never played the other ones. But again, I'm waiting for in fact, I need to go down to my GameStop. They have a special, kind of a special box set of Wolfenstein: The New Order. You can get like a little statue out of the Panzer dog. It's going to be really cool in pictures and a lot of little artifacts and things. I think there's going to be a limited production of 5,000 of them. I'm going to go down tomorrow. I was going to do it today, and I'm going to want to pre-order that. I think the game is separate, but I'm really excited. That's a next-gen game that I cannot wait for. That, Mad Max, Jonathan Blow's The Witness. Those are my 3 big, highly anticipated games of the year. I still may get Thief. I'm definitely going to be getting, what the hell is it? A Tomb Raider, the I guess definitive edition for the PlayStation 4. Because I want that immersion. I want the 60 frames per second. I want the PC-like graphics. I'm all for the advancement in technology. I just like the physical media. So let me know what you think in the comments about all of this. It's so early, we really don't know too much about it. There's lots of rumor and innuendo and speculation as to what's going to happen. I am very intrigued. I would very much like to hear what you have to say about this and banter about it a little bit, because it's just, it really has captured my imagination. I'm kind of excited in a way because I see a big infusion of dough, put into this project that could really see it take off. They're going to maybe come into, fruition even faster. Maybe we could have it within a year or so, as opposed to maybe a few years. So, because of it, the long-term effects of this deal and merger or whatever are what concern me. And down the road, I could see, Facebook, having a controlling interest in everything that deals with this and delves into this virtual reality thing. That concerns me, and it frankly concerns a lot of other people. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little rant. It's just been on my mind for 2 nights. I wasn't going to do anything about it. I was at work today. I was tired. I just kept thinking about it all day. I said, I've got to say something about this, because this is like a dream come true for me since my childhood. And I can't wait to see what's around the next corner with technology. I love gaming, and it's still great. I can go back and play those old Commodore 64 games, providing I could find a Commodore 64 and the original floppy disks that still work. But I love the old school gaming, the retro gaming I want to get more into. I'm going to be getting that Sega Genesis and my Super NES and the Panasonic 3DO and all that. I can't wait. That's my big goal this year, is to get those last 3 or 4 gaming systems, and then a handful of games for each of those systems. And I want to, kind of divide my time up amongst the new games of heavy immersion and adventure, and then the old retro games that are just fun as hell and a really good time, and share the collecting passion with my buds. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you think. I haven't been able to sleep at night thinking about this and wondering what it all means, because it's really a mystery. It really is. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Thanks for just being there, to sharing it. You just saw my new video. I've celebrated my 300 subs. I'm so excited. I have over 100 videos I've done now. I just stopped and kind of realized that things are really going in the right direction for my channel. Whether it grows or stays around the same number, I don't really care. I'm just happy to have the friends that I have, and the wonderful viewers and people that interact with me, that take the time out of their busy days and all the YouTube videos out there that find something interesting in mine. It does mean a lot to me, and I appreciate your kind support and kind words. So again, thank you very much, and enjoy your games, and enjoy the future of gaming, and enjoy the past retro gaming as well, because it's a smorgasbord we all can savor. So again, thank you for watching.